G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show, and it's time to read the news. So yes, first up, the biggest news out of, 2023 is Wallabies' unforgettable performance at the Rugby World Cup, and the official review has been done for what happened at Rugby Australia, an internal review, and this review normally don't come out, but this year they had to release it because it was such a disaster at the World Cup, and it turns out this is a lot worse than what anybody was expecting. There was a $2.6 million overspending on the Wallabies last year. Yes, $2.6 million for winning 2 matches out of the whole calendar year, man. Oh my God, what do they do? Do they buy a house in France? $2.6 million? I better be a good house, okay? You better be a good house with good rental yields. Otherwise, boy, this is not looking good. And by the way, this is not just $2.6 million of overspending. This is $2.6 million of unaccounted overspending. So they had a portion of the overspending that was accounted for, and they had $2.6 million on top of it. Okay? Okay, it's not just $2.6 million of raw overspending. So they better have a nice house in France. Otherwise, someone should be going to jail because this is literally stealing. Okay? I mean, what else to say? You South Africans will probably know how this works better than I do, but this is literally stealing, right? So yes, let's get to some of these details of how stupid Rugby Australia is at operating the business, right? So they said that 2.6 million was overspent on team costs, staff travel, and player benefits. 2.6 million of traveling? What? I mean, and they called it over-investment. You could not make this up, how euphemistic this language was, right? By Phil Ward, the current CEO. I mean, God, it's literally stealing, Phil. It's called stealing. It's not over-investment. It's stealing. And then people were asked, right? Hey, Phil, how come nobody knew that this was happening? And Phil Ward said, the delegation of authority is important, and clearly there were breaches in that area. And we made personnel changes on the back of some of these breaches. I mean, people were literally stealing under their noses, right? And then he's like, we realized they were stealing and those people got fired. That's basically what he said. It's so bad. It's so bad. I mean, $2.6 million? Do you realize how much money that is? I mean, how many rugby players has left for overseas, right? If you take that $2.6 million and handed each of those players an extra 200 grand, right? You would have kept another, 13 players? You could have kept the whole team. Literally, you could have offered everybody every extra 200 grand and kept the whole 13 players, right? To stay in Australia. That's how much money this is. And this is just like evaporated in the air. My God, there needs to be a criminal investigation on this, man. Holy shit. Oh, man. And, apparently the former chairman, Hamish McLennan, who got fired, basically said, we're going to give Eddie Jones whatever he wants. What, he just gave him, first-class tickets to fly to Japan to talk to Quade Cooper? What, spent, 10 grand on fucking first-class flights and, 5-star hotels so he can just go there and say hi to Quade? Is that what happened? I mean, how else could you spend 2.6 million? Unless, of course, they bought a fucking chateau in France, right? And we're waiting for the fucking rental income to come in. Other than that, how do you spend $2.6 million? Please tell me, right? I mean, you can literally go to strip clubs every weekend for your whole team for the whole year, and you still wouldn't spend $2.6 million, okay? I don't know how that happened. I mean, please, someone explain this to me, okay? And there were some recommendations. Installing our director of high performance, Dave Lucifora, jumped in. We forgot the transparency of selections needs to be transparency of selections. Oh boy, Eddie Jones. Anyway, so there was obviously broken trust and mismanagement. But man, there needs to be a criminal investigation to this. People literally stole Oh, by the way, Rugby Australia is literally operating on borrowed money right now. They have a loan, $50 million loan or something, that is keeping them afloat. and they just went and blown 2.6 million of unaccounted on top of the already budgeted overspending, right? Oh my god, it's so bad. Someone needs to go to jail. And boy, that's bad. That is horrendous. So yes, with that being said, Eddie Jones has once again started running his mouth, right? I mean, this is classic Eddie. He said that he's going to bring a new style of rugby to Japan, and there's no reason we can't jump into top 4. Eddie Jones thinks he can take Japan from 12 to top 4. Just below the All Blacks, Springboks, and Ireland, guys. Just below the Springboks, All Blacks, and Ireland. Wow. And don't forget, he's got to take credit, right? $2.6 million over budget. Eddie, you got to take credit. He has left Australia a young squad that is capable of doing well. So, don't forget to thank Eddie Jones if Australia do turn around at some point, because Eddie Jones set it up for you guys. Enjoy. Oh my god, thank Eddie for that great service to Australian rugby. So let's move on, okay? Let's move to South Africa. The Springboks versus Ireland. Apparently a lot of people didn't watch Ireland lose to England. I mean, of course, right? The Springboks apparently sold out in record times. 2 tests in July this year. First test sold out in 30 minutes at Loftus Versfeld. And the second one at Kings Park, Hollywood Bet. This is a Sharks home ground. Sold out in an hour and a half. Everybody knows the only team who sell out faster in South Africa is the Wallabies, okay? Especially when the Wallabies flogged the Springboks 2-0 this year at the Rugby Championship. Next year, the tickets are going to sell out in 15 minutes. I guarantee it. It's going to sell out record time next year when the Wallabies come to town, okay? Wait and see. Next. Okay, so some probably bad news to a lot of South Africans. Apparently, Rassie Erasmus is considering replacing Siya Kolisi as the captain of the Springboks because the fact that Siya is currently contracted to play overseas for 2 reasons, really. One, because you're contracted overseas, sometimes you actually just can't play. Like if the test is outside of the test window, the November test window, the World Rugby assigned test window, you're just not allowed to play. The club has rights to take you back. We've seen this happening, many times to the current Springbok setup. Players not able to play because the game is 1 or 2 weeks before the November Test series, the assigned time frame for the World Rugby to play, and then you just can't have a captain missing, right? So that's number 1 reason. Number 2 reason is that Rassie really wants a local-based player just so that they can be in close proximity and work together on a regular basis to, go away together on a $2.6 million bender spree and just talk about rugby. Talk about good old rugby, right? Just some good old rugby with your mate and just have a beer. So that's kind of what he wants. So yeah, there's a good chance that Siya Kolisi will no longer be the Springbok captain. And that means the Venkan, here's this guy, this face, right? This guy is going to be the new Springbok captain. Bungi Mbunabi, right? That's most likely candidate for the next Springbok captain. Let me know your thoughts on who the Springbok captain is going to be. Trevor Nyakani has confirmed to return to the Sharks for the Springbok, for the South Africans. Another big addition. The Rassie Erasmus has also added a new person to his coaching team. Paddy Sullivan has joined Rassie's team as well. Paddy Sullivan has been a Montpellier coach and who won the top 14 in 2012. Next up, the Six Nations now. Next weekend is the final week for the Six Nations. Some really interesting results that could come up in the Six Nations next week. So there's a weird chance that England can actually win the Six Nations. So Scotland will be playing Ireland, England will be playing France, Italy, Wales for the wooden spoon. So the first thing needs to happen is Scotland beating Ireland. So there will be a lot of Scottish fans, a lot of Brits suddenly will be showing up to support Scotland this weekend. And so if Scotland is able to beat Ireland or deny Ireland a bonus point, then England has to beat France with a 4-try bonus point, and England will win the Six Nations. Yes, that's correct. So yeah, that's it. So if Ireland gets a bonus point, then England has to win by point difference, which is very unlikely. You have to flog France by like 80 points to get there. And then if England don't get the bonus point, again, if you don't get the bonus point, you're not going to make the point difference either. So England needs to win with the bonus point over France so that they'll pull them at 17 points. And Scotland needs to beat Ireland and deny them a bonus point so that Ireland will stay at 16 points. But there's actually no way. There's actually, there's the only way for Scotland to win the Six Nations is to flog Ireland by 37 points. Yeah, so the point difference there means that Scotland has to beat Ireland by 37 points to actually win Six Nations, because Scotland getting a bonus point win only give them 5 points and they'll be leveled in score. And then once the score is leveled, according to Six Nation rule, if the match points are leveled, then they will go to point difference. So they have to beat Ireland by 37 points, which is really unlikely. So yeah, Scotland's chance of winning the Six Nations is pretty much out, but they can help England win it. And Scotland obviously has not going to just going and roll over. They have the Triple Crown still up for grab for Scotland, so they're going to definitely go for that as well. Italy and Wales are a little bit interesting as well. If Wales can beat Italy, they need to, if they can beat Italy with a bonus point, then they will straight up, give Italy the wooden spoon. But if it was not a bonus point, if they beat Italy without a bonus point, then the point difference will come in. So they have to somehow beat Italy by 11 points. But then again, you have to win a bonus point. Yeah, you have to win a bonus point. Without a bonus point, you wouldn't be able to get the point difference anyway. So Italy, Wales, it's all about if Wales can get a bonus point win or not to put Italy into the wooden spoon. Again, probably don't deserve it, that. So yes, let's have a look at the World Rugby rankings. Eddie Jones has promised to take Japan from 12 all the way to number 4. So yes, France, get out of here, dude. Get out of here, Anton Dupont. You are not going to be in the top 4 anytime soon, because Eddie Jones is coming for you. And then maybe, if not France, who's going to step aside? Ireland, step aside, right? For Eddie Jones is coming. Or maybe the All Blacks can step aside. If Anton Dupont comes back and bring France back to number 2 or something, right? I mean, who knows, right? Ireland, New Zealand, France. One of you guys have to step aside for Eddie Jones. Anytime, guys. Just put your hand up. Eddie Jones will take your submission anytime. So, yes, Six Nations on the weekend. There was a lot of trash talking, I guess. Trash talking, I guess. A lot of, not trash talking. A lot of doubt that England was going to beat Ireland. They did it by 1 point. So, there was talk before the game, from Irish pundits like Peter Stringer, that not a single player in the Irish team could make the England lineup. There was talk that the only way England could win if Ireland had a red card. There was talk that Ireland was the best team in the world despite not having the highest rankings. And, there was talk that, there was a lot of criticism levied against England players as well. Like there was, specifically there was talk that from this guy, what's his name? What was his name? Toby Flood basically came out and specifically said that Ben Earl is too light to be a number 8, not being able to bring that, physicality for the full 80 minutes because it's too light, which is a complete lot of bullshit. Ben Earl is 100. First of all, he looks massive on the field, right? I think he's definitely looks more than 107, but apparently he's on 107 kilos, but he looks way bigger than 107. He looks massive. Absolutely massive. Like, that is not 107 kilos. Like, this guy, he does not look like 107 kilos. There might need to be, and that's not 107 kilos, man. Like, I know what 107 kilos look like. That's Benny Vunipola. It's like 120. He looks about the same size as that. Like, he would be like 110 or something. There was some talks that Benny Vunipola is someone that's bigger more suited for the position. And also, if you look at Adi Savia, it's only about 100. And this is actually right. Adi Savia is about 100 kilos. Like, this is our official All Blacks website, 99 kilos, just around 100. And Adi Savia is one of the most brutalizing number 8s in the world. And furthermore, we've got Rob Valentini, the Wallabies one, 113, not far off. Jasper Visa, Springboks number 8, 110. Again, pretty much around the same weight. You were some, the French one, the French number 8, Gregory Aldridge, 115, maybe a little bit heavier. And then Dwayne Vermeulen is about 115 as well. So he's not that far off. Like, he's not super light. It's like middle of the pack, and I think he's probably even yearning closer to that top end anyway. So it's just complete bollocks that he's too light to be like a durable number 8, right? It's just completely insane. And so after the post-match function, obviously, Ben Earl has come out and basically said that levied some criticism against the media, basically saying like, it's just has to, take his stance and just, fight back against all the negativity. He just talked about, apparently England was touted the worst England team ever. And then he's like, I've done pretty well for the accolade. Just giving a bit of a nudge back on the media. And I think he's absolutely right. You need to stand up for yourself, all right? There's no one's going to stand up for you. If you just bow, you're going to just, if you stay on your knees, you're going to stay on your knees forever. You're going to stay there, right? If you get down on your knees, you're going to be there forever. But hey, for Sir Woodward, that's not good enough. You need to stay on your knees in front of the great Sir Woodward. So Clive Woodward actually came out and said, yeah, Ben Earl shouldn't be fighting back the media. Should just have no self-esteem, right? Just stick it to yourselves because that's what professional rugby players do. That's what he would have done, facing all the criticism. Just keep his mouth shut, right? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Like, no spine. Just, God, it's so bad. I'm all for people like Ben Earl to stand up for themselves, especially against, mounting criticism like that. You got to stand up for yourself, man. Like, it's just no way about it. So yeah, let's just talk about England, finish off England before we talk about Wales. So Feyi Wabuso, a guy that has been absolutely amazing for Wales. Again, the size of this guy's legs, man, it's just massive. He's got a bit of a head knock, so he won't be playing this weekend against France. It's a huge loss for the England team going into the decider. George North announced his international retirement. He wasn't selected last week, but Wales centre, he was dropped last week. And this week is announced his retirement. So yes, there's a bit of a half-time where the two coaches were caught, yelling at each other, essentially. So let's have a quick look at this. Look, there's a bit of a talk about stuff, right? There's some speculation what has been talked about, but it looked like to me, first of all, pretty sure this is how Englishmen talk to each other in the first place, and I'm pretty sure Andy Farrell just asking, why isn't Owen on the field, mate? Why didn't you select my son, right? He's just pointing at, he's like, where Owen? Why is Owen sitting in the crowd, right? And Borthwick is just like, he's like, look, Owen's sitting right there. Why did you select him? And Borthwick is like, your son's taking some time off, mate. Oh, okay. Is that why? Oh, yeah, it's all good. I'm pretty sure that's what's been said, okay? He's just asking why isn't Owen Farrell, his boy, on the field. That's why he looked a bit agitated, right? Look, he's like, hey, where's my son? Why is he not on the field? And then, both like, well, he's not on the field. Hey, listen, mate, he's taking a break. What? He's taking a break. He's sitting there in the crowd. Well, yeah, I know, he's taking a break. He doesn't want to play. Oh, right. See, now they're all, that's exactly what happened, man. And that's just how Englishmen talk to each other, right? There's absolutely nothing in there. People were saying like, oh my God, they're like, having a bit of a beer for halftime. No. It's none of that. Just a bit of fatherly inquiry to his son. So yeah, there was a little bit of a, what do you call it? A little bit of a, a little bit of a splinter in the French team on the week. So the Cameron Walkie was selected to be like a backup player traveling to play Wales in the weekend, and he has declined to travel with the national team and opted to stay and play for his club instead on the weekend. And yeah, that is really, he was left out of the 23 starting team, and he just said, "No, I'm not going to be the 24th man sitting on the bench and running water." So yeah, he just decided to stay in club. That shows a bit of a, Fabien Galtier's throwing is in shaky ground a little bit. Ireland saw two players returning to the fold, Calvin Nash and Cian Frawley are on track to play this weekend. And Hamish Watson in Scotland has been dropped after losing to Italy. I don't think he was on the field. I'm pretty sure he was just on the bench. But yeah, that was a pretty ugly performance by Scotland. And I think the biggest issue for the Scotland team was, again, just the lack of brute, a lack of physicality from the four pack. I think that's the main area that they lost. And Italy was just able to run wild with their expansive style of rugby that they've been adapting to recently, and there's not enough brute force to kind of like shut that down a little bit. So there were some talks about this Gregor Townsend might be going, but yeah, it's probably not going to be, not at least till the end of the Six Nations. See what happens after the Ireland game. If they get flogged by Ireland like they did in the World Cup, then there might be some argument for Gregor Townsend there. There was a little bit of an awkward moment for Warren Gallen. He was getting ready for an interview, and the interview took way too long, and he just like walked off after losing. It's understandable after you lose to France at home. Really the game fell away for Wales about 60 minutes. Wales is in the game, like looking like they could putting out ready, setting up for an upset, and then they just completely fell apart in the last 20 minutes or so. And this led to the Welsh talk about potentially opening up their selection policies to overseas players. There was one of the selection requirements have to be 25 caps. They wanted to broaden that to players who have played in club levels for a certain number of years, should also be allowed to play even if they haven't got the 25 caps for the Welsh national team. So Lewis Lake had come out and suggested that for the selection rule for the Welsh. And I do think that the Welsh four-pack is as well a massive, it's really the game where the four-packs lost. The French, when they brought the French scrum was already like 80 kilos or something heavier in the starting team. And then in the second half, they brought on, Tuilangi. There was a Tuilangi starting, but they brought on Taufevanua, both Taufevanua brothers. And then they brought on like that big prop, big prop, tight hair prop, and the weight just completely tipped the scale against Welsh, and that was a big part of the reason why Welsh just got absolutely hammered in the last 20 minutes. Just wasn't enough physicality there, so maybe they have to broaden some players, maybe send out some visas to get some better players into their talent pool. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Gareth Anscombe has signed with Gloucester after being dropped from his Japanese team because he was injured before the season kicked off, had his contract terminated there. So yes, there's Wales has made 4 changes going to this weekend to play against Italy for the wooden spoon. I guess to avoid the wooden spoon. Davy Jenkins reverts to lock. Dylan Lewis and Alex Mann has been promoted to the starting position, and what happened? Was it Nick Tompkins back? Yeah, Tompkins is back at 12. So I thought. Nick Tompkins and George North are back, but George North has announced his retirement. So, yeah, he will be finishing this last game, I guess. And next up, so we're going to Super Rugby now. There was a really good round of Super Rugby. Actually started pretty bad. On Friday night, the game between Waratahs and Highlanders was just a joke. The referee just like intentionally avoided giving out penalties, especially scrum penalties, to speed up the game under directions by Rugby Australia. Because, losing $2.6 million, you got to make it back somehow. Let's blame it on the referee for slowing the game down, for losing all the money. So, yeah, it was a pretty bad game on Friday night. Borderline unwatchable. And then they fixed, and then the game on Saturday was really good all throughout the day. And then Saturday night, the big win for the Reds over the Chiefs was a huge win. I was feeling that one after the match. So some injury, it's just some injury news out of the weekend. Max Jorgensen's been ruled out from the Waratahs. Scotty Barrett, the big lock, is out for 6 weeks for a fractured finger. So yeah, Scotty, we're gonna miss him for a little bit. He has been quite a soldier for New Zealand. Smells like something's on fire. So I'm going to quickly get this done. I actually smell smoke. I'm going to quickly get this done and then check out if my house is on fire. So yeah, there was some talks that Geordie Pataya. Seriously, I smell fire. Something on fire. I'm going to quickly finish this. So the Geordie Pataya has been talking about going into rugby league. And Les Kiss, the current Reds coach, has really asked Rugby Australia to, spend maybe $2.6 million on keeping Geordie Pataya, one of the most talented players, youngster in the future of the Wallabies team. And I totally agree with that, to try to keep him in check. Tony Brown, after declining 2019 offer to coach the All Blacks, has put his hat back into the candidate for potentially next in line for the All Blacks coach after Razor, I guess. And then finally, yes, the Reds has been the. Oh, sorry, yeah. So the Reds has beaten the Chiefs, and then there was New Zealand pundits literally on the same week talking about how the Chiefs is really special, we're going to be really, really good, and then went on to lose to the Reds, which was quite a bit of humble pie for the RTO Raw podcast there. But the Reds will be playing against like one of those against the so Wales will play against the Reds when they come to July Test Series, which is a nice addition. And finally, there was one little bit of news. It's not here. The All Blacks 15 will play Munster in the November Test Series as well. So that's another little bit of addition for club rugby to get some international experience for the fans. So yeah, that's the news for this week. I got to check out what this smell is. Smells like something is on fire. So I have to turn this off. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later. Cheers.